So, air ride. If you're going to build one of these cars, I thoroughly recommend you have something like this put on, because when the car is on the ground, this often gets caught on things like speed bumps. I don't use it to slam the car down, you know, when stationary. You have the suspension set at a normal height, and then when I come to the old speed bumps, which are everywhere these days, and going up ramps and things like that, I put the air ride on, and it raises the car, you know, 2 centimeters. It's not a lot, but it makes a massive difference. So what I use is this Stance parts kit. It's brilliant. Companies in Holland, and yeah, there's a website, you find it online, and yeah, you can buy these kits, and you can buy a kit that does just 2 sets of wheels, or all 4. And basically the way it works is, unfortunately, you need to have coilovers because they don't necessarily fit on the standard struts. So you have to change your suspension to coilovers, which you might want to do, you might not want to do. Yeah, so you have to have the coilovers fitted. And what it is, you can see here, it's a cup, and it fits on over the coilover. And when air gets blown into this cup, there's like a shelf, and the air gets blown into the top of the cup there, and it pushes it down and thus pushes the car up. It's a fantastic bit of kit. I think they're really good, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. So in terms of actually how you do it, obviously on the website they show you, so ideally you want to get your coilovers first, because what you then need to do is measure you need to take your coilover apart and measure like the thickest part of the shaft in the middle, because then the cup will sit over that, and then they will send you the right sized diameter of the hull of the cup to fit on the coilover. You can probably, if I go around here, you can probably sort of see, well, not very well, sorry about that. Yeah, the cup's on, and then the original parts of the coilovers are there, and then you've got that. Then this is the main part of the coilover going into the body. Obviously, you could fit this on any car. So yeah, not just the Porsches, but in terms of how you actually go about it. So, like I said, there are instructions on the website, but I'm just going to show you what I've done. So I only do the fronts, right? I don't care about raising the back up. There's no need. It's purely just to get over the old speed bumps. You have to mount the tank somewhere. So in the kit, right, you get the tank. So that's a load of air. You get the compressor, and then you get this thing, which is the switch that enables you to specify how fast or how slow you want it going up and down. And you get a relay, right? What I do is I like to mount, because the compressor can be quite loud, I like to mount it in the front for a couple of reasons. In the front, it will be completely shut off from the cabin, because if you try, you could put it in the boot, right, in the rear boot. But the problem is I know I haven't got anything built here yet. You could put it sort of there. But once the car's finished, you'll have a parcel shelf over this, and access. Oh, I have to open it up now. Oh, it's not connected properly. I'm not going to open it up, but what I'm saying is, to get the tank in and out, the actual gap is not the biggest, right? And the reason for, so there's that reason. The thing is you'll have a parcel shelf here. It won't be entirely soundproof from everything, right? So when the thing's running, you'll hear it more in the cabin. And the final reason is because what you do need to do is every few months on the tank, you need to take the tank out and drain it, because water will build up inside it. So net, I mean, at the end, and I keep it in the front. Okay, so I lose half of the front boot space, but I've still got a full Boxster size boot at the back. On my white car, I don't use the rear boot very much. I just keep stuff in there that if you need an emergency, like my tool kits and all that sort of stuff. So what I do is I make like a little box because what you want to be able to do is take it all out and drain the tank every now and then. So I sort of construct this box, and then within here I've got the tank mounted, and then because I sort of take the whole thing in and out, I design it so I can unplug it all really easily. Now this is an extra bit, but what I found is because you have to run wires from ignition and positive, etc, etc, I sort of have this junction box. So, you know, there's a few things that need to be earthed in here in this sort of setup, and there are a few things that need to have ignition power and live power. So what I do, and because I want to separate, because I need to take it out every now and then, I basically wire it all up like this, and then I have, oh, and also you need a switch, obviously. I wire it all up so that all these wires coming in here, that's all the power and the switch that I need. And then if I wanted to take this whole thing apart, I just take these two plugs apart and then just lift the whole thing out and leave the wires dangling. When this is fitted up properly, this will be tucked in behind this trim, but for now, on my white car, I fitted it after I'd finished the car because I realised I needed the air ride, but I've decided to do it before on this one. And you know, when I sent it to the paint shop, I'll take all this trim out and I'll leave the box in there because it will help getting the trailer on and out, you know, getting it on the trailer when I transport it to the paint shop. But for now, I'll just leave it in there like that, right? And then what I do, I haven't finished this desk yet, but I have this cover like that. So that goes on there, and it's got those bits there that lock onto the top of the box, and I cover that in carpet, and it just looks like factory. So, and because it's nice thick wood, it really keeps the sound down, and you can hardly hear it. You certainly, you know, it's not a noise that is really annoying or anything like that. What I recommend you do, so I know there's a lot of wiring on here, it looks like spaghetti junction. Don't worry about that, that's all for the lights and stuff. I can talk about that in another video. But what I recommend you do is, I've got this sort of like, call it a power station, but basically I've got here, so basically these are all, this is like a junction, this is sort of like a junction box really, you know. Here we've got all of these red wires coming out, they're all live and they're fed by one live wire. What I've done is I've run a wire direct from the battery, and that's that red one there. I've run a wire through the car that only comes live when the ignition's on, and that one is an earth wire that's connected to the battery. And then, so I've got some nice solid sources of earth or ignition or live, and then everything else I need to run, I just run it off here, yeah. So these wires that go to the air ride, they all just end up here, right? And it's sort of just a neater way of doing it, as opposed to having to run a separate live wire to the battery, a separate, you know. So it's almost like a little junction box. And of course all that will be hidden when the stuff goes back on in the boot. The other thing you get with the kit, which is part of this sort of sleeve, is the switch, right? So definitely recommend using the switch they give you. It's this push button switch. When it's on, a little ring lights up, and on the instrument surround, or what is it, steering cover or something, you can put it in here, and it's a perfect place for it to sort of, you know, be switched on and off, and that's where I've got it on my white car at the moment. And in running wires to and into the cabin, what you'll find is you'll have to take the battery out, but there is a rubber grommet there, right? It's huge, it's about that big. So I just cut a cross slit in it, and I can run all my wires in and out there, so that's fantastic. I'm going to start another video because, yeah, I need a rest. Right, I had a rest. So the kit, the stance parts, there it is. You know, and it goes through. Talks about putting the coilovers on. Oh, I'm going to turn this light off because it's flashing. There we go. Talks about how you put the coilover on, and then you have to run the airlines. So, and and then you have, this just talks about the wiring. Really simple, really clear, it's fantastic. So basically the airlines, you know, that blows the air through, it's just this little plastic tube, right? It's fantastic. And obviously you can cut it, you have to cut it a bit. I recommend doing one of the, I think this is like a pipe cutter, but you know, you can snip it, snip, 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 and it all is really, you get a nice clean cut with that. Now, in the kit, you get, all you get in terms of attachments is effectively a T-piece, oh, I can't do it with my hand, a T-piece, which I'll show you somehow. See that? Right, that's the only sort of pipe thing you get with the kit. Now, because I guess in theory this is made for any car, and you know there's going to be a million ways to lay the airlines, but of course, as I want to make the thing really easily and removable, what you should get is just go on the internet and get these sort of push fit connectors. Last time around I got metal ones and they're actually quite a lot of money. They're about £5 each, but plastic ones is fine. So, and they're a lot cheaper. So, you know, you probably need about, I don't know, you can get 10 of them or something. And what you then do is you can run the airline, you know, at right angles if you want to, and make it look a lot neater. So you can see here, look what I've done here. The way I've done the tank, I've got that, and then I've got one of my things there, and one of the things there, and then that goes into the switch that specifies the speed. I've got the relay there, zip tied all the wires up nicely. This thing is basically the filter for the compressor. So you can see I've got that going there into the compressor. And yeah, and basically whenever I want to take this whole thing out, along with undoing those plugs, I just take that connector off. I'm not going to do it because all the air will blow out and it will scare me. But yeah, I also designed it, you know, you could put all your road maps here and things like that, and your books, toolkit if you want. So in terms of how I do the actual airlines, what I've found, the Boxster on both sides have this hole already cut out, and it's just in the, it was designed, I'm sure, for this. It was absolute perfect place. One sec. Right, sorry, back again. So we're talking about this hole, and it was perfect for running the airlines. So what I've done is I just put a grommet around it to protect the edges, protect the tube from the sharp edges there. And you can see what I've done is I've used one of these elbows to sort of get it coming straight out, so there's really no bend in the actual airlines. And the beauty of this hole as well, because you've got to remember, when you just turn the steering wheel, this cup will rotate ever so slightly. So when you sort of line it up, you want to make sure that, you know, when you turn the wheel left to right, it doesn't catch on anything and doesn't have any undue pressure on it. Just open up the lid. Okay. So then basically that airline comes through there, and then I use another one of the elbows there to bring it up here. And what I found is all you need to do is run the airline sort of under the scuttle cover like that, and you know, it doesn't matter if it's not solid because it needs to move when you turn the steering wheel. This is what I did on my white one, and it is just perfect. So there's no, it's not under any pressure, it's not going to snag, it's not going to come apart, blah blah blah. So then on this side, do exactly the same thing. There's a hole, put the grommet in, so that it's a bit more busy under here because of all the stuff. But yeah, you'll be able to, so you can imagine, same things coming through here, and it basically, I join it up with that T-piece. I actually do the T-piece round the other way, so you've basically got that goes to the driver's, that goes to the driver's wheel, that goes to the passenger wheel, and then this one comes through here. Now this big sort of grommet here is brilliant for running the wires and everything through. So then you go, here we go, we've got this airline coming down here, and it just comes all the way down here and ends up there. So basically the tank fills up with air, you hit the button, it releases it, it just blows all the air along the tubes, bomb, 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 and it raises up the suspension. And that's about it really. I mean, I fitted this in like probably a couple of hours this time round. Of course, the first time it was, because I knew what I was doing the second time round. First time it was longer, but you know, I thought it was going to be daunting at first, but it's actually quite straightforward and quite simple. So, so yeah, happy days.